One thing I've read the report was that it explores the economic benefits that digital skills provide for individuals, organizations, and even national economies. And specifically in ASEAN, there are 10 big nations with very, very different characteristics and culture. So can you summarize what are the key takeaways from that report?
Absolutely. And as you just mentioned, we partnered with Gallup to conduct the study. The study has been quoted in many media at this point, I think over 500 references at this point. And so let me talk about the 5 main takeaways. The first is that digital fluency yields massive economic benefits. So at the Asia Pacific level, so this study, by the way, looked at several countries. It's an Asia Pacific study, but we looked at a country level because that's the information that our customers and partners are interested in, whether they're in government sector or in the private sector. So the countries include Australia, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea, India, and then in the ASEAN space, the 4 countries I mentioned before, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and Indonesia. So in this space, the first takeaway was that, again, digital fluency yields massive economic benefits. As an example, those with advanced digital skills raise the Asia Pacific GDP by an estimated 934 billion. So it's pretty close to $1 trillion. And so this is a large impact on the overall GDP. So they're not just, and if that's happening at the overall GDP level, you can see that there is an impact at the community level as well. So that's number one. The second is that digitally skilled workers in Asia Pacific have a higher job satisfaction and efficiency. So, for example, those with advanced digital skills have 79% job satisfaction compared with others that have either basic or intermediate digital skills. So advanced digital skills, in this case, what we define here is the ability to architect on cloud, development, and developers as well, right? And again, but I should also mention that this study is freely available on our website. I encourage your listeners to go and have access to this. The third part of this is that digital skills investment yields business dividends. And what we mean by this is that organizations with digitally skilled workforces are significantly outperforming non-digital peers. As an example, 66% of Asia Pacific organizations that employ these workers are at least seeing a revenue growth of 10% or more year on year. And part of that, and we can see this anecdotally, where organizations who are able to innovate on cloud can recognize new revenue streams. An example that I can mention is Globe Telecom in the Philippines, who, whilst going through cloud adoption, came up with the GCash app. So the GCash app is a micro-lending payments app developed by a telco who normally you don't associate with developing an app for micropayments, but it was developed pre-pandemic, and then GCash took off in terms of adoption. And today, I believe over 2/3 of Filipino adults use the GCash app, and now it's been spun off into a new company. So those are the kind of examples that you can see in terms of innovation, right? Let's go to the fourth one. But there are barriers to digital training and are nearly as pervasive as the interest in acquiring it. And you mentioned one of the comments here, right? Which is people just don't know how to start. Where do I begin? And so that's why I give them the simplest route, which is go to our Skill Builder platform, which provides free training initially and access to these 600 videos that has stepwise directions on whether it's role-based or service-based. The other component of this is that employers are also finding hard to find talent for their technology projects because they have a requirement for bachelor's degree. However, when we do speak to these employers and say, if an employee who does not have a bachelor's degree but has certifications, like the certificate, like a solutions architect certification, for example, that can be a substitute if it's associated with a specific project, right? A cloud project. So that's number 4. And then finally, building a future-ready workforce. We are seeing new emerging technologies as something that most organizations will want to invest in, or they believe will become a significant part of their business strategy. And these include either 5G, artificial intelligence, or robotics. So, for example, when asked how likely is it that these technologies will be part of your new future, 67% of APAC employers said that it would be most likely at least one of those technologies. So those are the 5 takeaways. And then, of course, we have this at the country level as well.